Warning: sensitive images.
Vegan leader beyond all borders.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
You compare what's happening today in animal agriculture against what our Torah and our religion say. There's no doubt about it. Jews should be transitioning to vegan lifestyles.
Jewish Veg, shining a light on veganism in the Jewish faith, part 1 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
Rada Privyet Swovat was means joyful greetings in Russian. I'm Evgenia. The people of Tatarstan embrace the highest values of nobility and extend our greetings and friendship to visitors with inviting smiles that will melt your heart. In today's show on Supreme Master Television, we are honored to have an interview with the key person of Jewish Veg, Mr. Jeffrey Spitz-Cohen, who has taken the Torah to heart by living in accordance with the Jewish Bible teachings. His in-depth views and deep understandings are also accompanied by the humble attitude and patience of a great teacher that transcends all faiths. Mr. Cohen is the executive director at Jewish Veg, a charitable organization that embraces and encourages a plant-based way of living to people of the Jewish faith. Its mission is to inspire and help Jewish people to transition to a vegan lifestyle based on Jewish values.
The Garden of Eden, which was the ideal society, was a vegetarian society. Adam and Eve were vegans. If we take literally the vision of Yeshayahu, of Isaiah, it's going to be a world in which there's not going to be any killing, and therefore it's going to be an ideal plant-based diet for humanity. It is a way of life that resonates with the most profound and the most sublime values of Jewish tradition.
The Jewish faith calls the Old Testament of the Holy Bible the Torah, and spiritual teachers of the Torah are ordained as rabbis, which is the Hebrew word for master or great one. One may become a rabbi after he has completed a course of studies of the Jewish texts and ordained by a fellow rabbi. The Torah is full of stories and wise teachings that one can still utilize in modern society. Mr. Cohen was once living an omnivore way of life. It wasn't until more than 30 years later that he realized the truth hidden in an important part of the Torah while listening to a sermon.
In the first chapter of Genesis, this is the first chapter in the entire Bible. It says in verse 29, "You will eat the plants, and only the plants." I'm paraphrasing slightly, but that's what it says. The plants are your food. So my wife and I looked at each other and say, well, it looks like we're supposed to be vegetarians. So we immediately became vegetarians right on the spot. About 2 years after that, the book Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer was published. I don't know if you're familiar with that book. I do recommend it to your viewers. The book Eating Animals goes into tremendous detail about what happens in modern animal agriculture. And by the time I was finished, or even before I was finished with the book, I was completely vegan. I couldn't go back and think I was in any way complicit in these terrible things that are happening to animals.
Jeffrey's life changed from that day onwards. He noticed that uncompassionate living is widely accepted in society, but is contradicting the core teachings of the Torah. Jeffrey dedicated his time to educating and closing this gap of ignorance. He explains the role of Jewish veg in modern society.
Our Torah, which is what we call our Bible, and our rabbinic tradition, which is what leading rabbis have been talking and writing about for millennia point very strongly towards a vegan diet. And if you compare what's happening today in animal agriculture against what our Torah and our religion say, there's no doubt about it, Jews should be transitioning to vegan lifestyles. So we get the message out through various ways. This has changed during the pandemic, of course. So we've been doing lots of virtual events. Including coming up, we're going to be doing our first virtual vegan Passover Seder. But in normal circumstances, we do events all over the country and even Canada. We speak at synagogues, we speak at Jewish community centers, we speak on college campuses, and we have a program called Plant Pathways, which helps people transition. So we don't just inspire people to adopt a vegan diet, we help them do it.
Heavenward viewers, let's take some time to review these significant verses in our Bible, highlighting compassionate acts towards all beings on our love-filled planet.
Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television.
Veganism. Let's join this ism.
Welcome back, saintly viewers, to our show today, Jewish VEG, shining a light on veganism in the Jewish faith, part 1 of 2. Mr. Jeffrey Spitz Cohen is the executive director of the Jewish VEG organization, which highlights the core teachings of the Torah and how we can live in line with our intention of helping all beings and the planet. The avenues of support in Jewish veganism come in many forms, with supporting scientific facts, speeches from prominent rabbis, and delicious traditional meals for all Jewish celebrations.
The support from rabbis is growing, and with the concerning issues worldwide, a statement has been posted on the Jewish VEG website from the many rabbis embracing the highest truth.
A couple of years ago, we released a rabbinic statement that was signed by, at the time, 75 rabbis, asking their fellow Jews to transition to vegan lifestyles. We're about to re-release the same statement, this time 150 rabbis have signed it. So twice the number as the original. We think it will really open people's eyes and get a lot of attention.
The renowned rabbi from the past, Rabbi Yosef Albov, wrote, "Killing animals involves cruelty and anger and rage. Eating meat makes the soul thick, murky, and occluded." Mr. Cohen tells us which era this far-reaching statement was written and how it relates to the present modern practices of factory farming and the effects on people.
You would think that this quotation that you just read came from, a couple of years ago, or maybe 10 years ago. This was written during the 15th century, so 500 years ago, long before anybody conceived of a factory farm. This was a leading rabbi of his generation, recognized that to eat meat, you have to shut off part of your soul, and it makes you a less sensitive, a less spiritual person. Imagine if this rabbi could enter a time machine and speak to us today, seeing what is happening in factory farming, what he would say. I don't know that he could phrase it any more strongly than he did, but he certainly would be quite distraught to see people consuming products that are produced in the way they're produced today.
This insight from past masters and accomplished spiritual teachers exhibits present wisdom even before the advent of modern-day scientific research, as the wide range of advantages of the plant-based lifestyle is constantly being updated by scientists today. For example, a 2018 study from the prestigious Weizmann Institute of Science showed that to produce an equivalent amount of protein with poultry requires twice as much land, and dairy products 4 times as much land, compared to a plant-based diet. The result of the study concluded that if livestock were replaced with plant crops, all 327 million Americans would have enough food, with a surplus to feed an extra 390 million more people. Plus, there is the added bonus of better overall health, reduced medical costs, and fewer greenhouse gas emissions. This has been a recurring theme in our beloved Supreme Master Ching Hai's discourses since the 1980s, informing us of the clear advantages of a plant-based way of living for the health of all beings and the planet.
The best thing is stop eating meat, stop killing animals, stop raising animals. Then the methane gas and the nitrous oxide gas will stop. And then we cut already a big chunk of pollution of our air, and we cut off the global warming process. And I said already 80% of it will be cut almost immediately, and we can see the result in a few weeks. Because if you don't keep breeding more animals, then there is less methane. And if we don't eat meat, then there's no transportation necessary for it. And much less fuel is needed. And all these people can be trained to do something else. And there will be less hunger because we will use the agricultural products, cereals, to feed humans instead of feeding more bred animals in the future. So we don't have hunger anymore, and there will be no more war because of hunger. So it's just the effect is immense. Keep multiplying it, and then you know what I mean. Yeah.
For more information on Jewish Veg, please visit jewishveg.org. Treasured viewers, thank you for your precious time watching our show today. Please join us on Thursday, August 19, for Jewish Veg Shining a Light on Veganism in the Jewish Faith, Part 2 of 2, here on Supreme Master Television. May we all prosper in compassion, united on the path of joyous living, respectful of all sentient beings.
Vegan leaders, all nations' fathers.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VEG.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/VEG.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/VEG.
برامجنا متوفرة بالعديد من اللغات. يرجى زيارة suprememastertv.com/schedule و suprememastertv.com/VEG